Hello, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. So today I'm going to be doing something a little different. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I do a lot of work on some old BMWs. So today we're going to be looking at this. This is my son's truck. It's a 1970 model Ford F100. This truck, actually it belonged to my father-in-law. He bought it. My wife's dad bought this truck brand new in 1970. Drove it all through the 70s into the 80s. In the late 80s, had some mechanical problems. I believe it had a little under fire hood that cooked some wires. So it got parked. He bought a new truck, and it sat there for all these years. And then back in 2016, right before my son turned 16 years old, we pulled it out of the field and we went to work on it. So we didn't really do a restoration on it. We just kind of got it running again. We did a lot of work to it. I worked on it all my days off through all of 2016. And then in 2017, I believe that January, once he turned 16, we had just finished it up. He went and got his driver's license, and they went and transferred the truck actually from my father-in-law's name, which he had the original title from when he bought the truck in 1970, and transferred this into my son's name. So we'll take a look at the truck a little bit closer, and we'll do a little bit of talking about it. We'll do a little walk around. Like I said, it's a 1970. It's an F100 half-ton. It is a short wheelbase, and like I said, we didn't do a restoration on it, but what we did do was go through all the mechanicals, get it running, put all new brakes on it. It does have four-wheel, non-power drum brakes on it. That is the original paint that's still on the truck. I don't know how it's turning out in the video. It's really, really chalky. Here's the back of it. It's really chalky. You can see some, it's there on my finger. You can see we polished it out a few times, but it just immediately fades back to this. Pardon me. So the bumper that was on the truck was a big, ugly, you know, one of those 1970s looking bumpers on the back. We didn't put that on there. But yeah, everything on the outside is all original. You can see on the hood here that fire from way back when that put it out of commission initially. And then on the roof here, story goes, my father-in-law had been working on the truck, and then a relative got in it to drive it, and the hood wasn't closed, and the hood flipped up and hit the roof there. That was something that happened back in the 70s or 80s, something like that. So we'll take a look at the inside. No push to unlock on this thing. It's got the old school keys. So there we go. Goes up, goes down, take the key out. This thing hasn't been moved in a while. The radiator developed a leak, and so it's just kind of been sitting, but I'm gonna get this thing running. So whenever we got it going, we did completely redo the inside. So this is the original seat that's been recovered. We put shoulder style belts in it. It originally came with the old lap belts. We put a new dash pad on it. This was a new old stock dash pad that my father-in-law bought back in the 80s, and he never put it on the truck. So whenever we got this thing going, we installed it then, had it painted green by an upholstery shop. New steering wheel. This is the original gauge cluster. Some of the gauges work, some of them don't. Got some aftermarket there just to keep an eye on the temperature and the oil pressure and all that. We repainted the dash, all that. New floor mat underneath the driver's side foot here, and then there was a spot on the passenger side as well. I welded in new floorboards, cut out just a small piece over there, and then this side over here, pretty much all new. This whole side here was pretty much an all new floor pan that we got re-welded in. So I suspect the battery's dead. Let's This is a three speed on the column. I don't know if probably not a lot of people familiar with that anymore. Let's see if it'll start. I bet the battery's completely dead. Oh, huh. Wow, wow. Okay, well, let's put it down in gear. I tell you what, take the key out. I'm gonna put the battery charger on it because I'm gonna have to be messing with it. I'm gonna put the battery charger on it for a little while, clean up the battery terminals, and then we'll get some gas and squirt some gas down in the carburetor. But first, let's get the hood open and look at the engine. All right, I got the hood up. So as you can see on the brake master cylinder there was no booster for it, so it is straight up non-power brakes. This engine is a 390. I believe this truck originally came with a 360, and at some point my father-in-law swapped it out with a motor from a car. It might have come with a 360. I can't remember exactly, but I know these heads are off of a car because these headers, we had to do some modification to these headers. The 390 FEs that come in the trucks and the ones that come in the cars have a different bolt pattern for the exhaust manifolds and therefore for the headers. I want to say this motor came out of a 67 or 68 Mustang. I'm not positive. It's got an Edelbrock aftermarket aluminum intake on it. It's got a Holley carburetor on it, a Holley 4-barrel carburetor. It's pretty bare bones. Doesn't have power steering, as you can see here. The belt here that comes off of the crank goes to the water pump and to the alternator, and that's it. It's a pretty basic truck. We've had it running, like I said. My son drove it for 2 years, his last 2 years of high school. He's in college now. He's got a BMW 330 Ci. I've done a few videos on that, so if you go back and look at my other videos, you'll see that car. But this just isn't a very practical. It's a 3-speed on the column. I believe it's got like a 410 gear, and it's not really practical for driving, you know, in modern traffic on the highways. But it's still fun to drive around town. Some of the wiring, when we were putting this thing together, we got really rushed trying to get it finished so he could drive it. So what I'm going to do over the next few videos is I want to come in here and clean up some of this wiring. I mean, you can see we didn't even put a terminal on that right there. Once we got it running, we were just excited and we kind of left it alone. So yeah, what I want to do over this series of videos is just fix some of the things that are wrong with it, and just get it back on the road and keep driving it, you know, here and there. The radiator's got a leak in it. I don't know if this is gonna, there's no water in it right now, so that's kind of what put it out of commission. So I'm gonna try to get a new radiator for it. What I'm gonna probably do today, just for the sake of this video, is just put some water in it. We'll just drive it around, you know, around the neighborhood here. Just get you some shots of that before all the water leaks out of it. But yeah, so anyway, so right now what I'm gonna do is clean up these battery terminals here, and I want to put a charger on this because I don't know how long I'm gonna have to run it to get it started by pouring gas down the carburetor. Like I said, it hasn't been started in a long time, and I'm super surprised that it even turned over at all. I'm telling you, this thing has not been touched in about 6 months. So yeah, let's clean these terminals up, and then I'll put the battery charger on it, and I'm going to yeah, leave the charger on it. I'm gonna go inside, make some lunch, and then we'll come back out, pour some gas down the carburetor, and see if we can get it going. Okay, so I got my standard tools out here, no metrics on this truck. I'll take this battery loose. Got our terminals loose. See if we can get them off. There's one. Pry that just a little bit open. All right. Battery tool here. It's got a little brush that goes inside the terminals, and then it's got a brush on the inside that goes on the post for the battery. So just stick that in there like that. Get that cleaned up. Get this side cleaned up. Set that over there. And we'll use this side, clean the post, put this right down here. All right, so here's our terminals all nice and clean. So what I'm going to do is, instead of rolling the cord out from the house, there's Miss Zoe. She's out here helping me. So shameless plug for Miss Zoe. Follow her on Instagram at Miss Zoe Chihuahua. At Miss Zoe Chihuahua. All right, so I'm going to take the battery out. I'm going to take it in the garage, and then we will just put it on the charger in there. Hope the strap doesn't break on me. I'm sure this battery's super heavy. Zoe, you're not helping. So we'll come in here to the junky old garage. All right, I got that battery right there. Here's my good old die-hard charger from Sears. This thing's probably older than some of the people watching this video. This thing's probably about 20 years old. This is back when Sears actually sold good tools. Get our cord out here. Plug it into the wall. So we'll go get our positive, clamp on our positive. Let's see what we got going on here. 15 amp. We'll just put it on a slow 2 amp charge. You can see there I got it switched over to 2 amp. And then put on our negative. Alright, we're getting some sparks. Oh, I got it on 6 volt. There we go. Alright, we'll let that rock and go inside and eat some lunch, and we'll come back. Put it in the truck. Okay, just got through with lunch. I put the battery back in, filled the radiator up. I got a little bit of antifreeze in there, mostly water, and checked the oil over here. Oil was good. So what I've got here is some gasoline in a water bottle. Be careful when you do this. I don't have any little kids around the house anymore, but just don't leave stuff like this around your garage, around your house, because somebody, I know as silly as that sounds, somebody could pick that up and drink it. I knew a kid when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s that actually drank some gasoline out of a mason jar that his dad had laying around, and he was never really right after that. So anyway, just keep that in mind. So what I'm going to do is squirt a little bit of gas down in the carburetor. And I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to go inside the truck, turn the key. Hopefully this doesn't fall over. Let's see what happens. All right, that's pretty good. I don't have any fuel in the fuel filter yet. So let's drip a little more gas gas down in here. We got to get it running long enough to where the fuel pump turns and get some gas going up in that filter. Let's give it another shot. Don't see any gas coming up in there yet. Yeah, still no gas in the filter. That's why I wanted to charge this battery, because I thought it might take a while. Ran a little bit longer. Yeah, I'm starting to see some fuel in that filter now. So I bet one or two more tries here will get it, hopefully. Pressure looks good. Our voltage looks good. It's about 13, probably 13.5 volts. And then we're going to watch our water temperature here. Make sure it comes up to operating temperature. And it's probably going to suck some of that water down in the radiator. And so I will have to add a little bit more water. But I'm going to set it, let it sit here and idle. And I'll shut the camera off and we'll let it idle a little bit, and then we'll take it for a drive. Okay, so I've been letting her idle for about 20 minutes now, and the temperature's holding around 180. So yeah, looks good. Let me get this camera turned around and we'll take her for a drive. Okay, this is going to kind of be hard to do with the camera, but so this is a what you call a 3 on the tree. So it's a 3-speed manual transmission. So it's just like a shifter that's on the floor, except it's sideways. So when you want to go, sorry, let me get my fingers out of the way. So you want to go into first gear, you press in the clutch. You bring it down towards you, or back towards you, and down. Now that's first gear. Up, back to neutral, and forward. Right there, that's second, and then back, down, and that's third, and then reverse is towards you and up. So that's reverse. So that's first, second, third. First. She's old and sticky. Second, second, third. So we got Mrs. Zoe going along for the ride. She loves to ride. So I'm gonna mount this camera somewhere. We'll mount the camera somewhere and we'll get going. So this is gonna seem backwards. This is the only way I can. This is the only way I can mount my camera in here with the mounts that I have. So this is gonna seem backwards, but this isn't a right-hand drive truck. This is left-hand drive, like an American car should be. So get my mirror. All right, here we go. That's first gear. Let's go. So that's first. And there's second. This transmission, you'll notice I didn't use the clutch when I shifted to second. This thing's so loose. It's just an old school transmission, and you can do that. Newer transmissions, you can do that. It's a lot harder to do. You have to get the RPMs just right, but this whole thing's loosey-goosey. It does it no problem. So there's first, second. So we're in the neighborhood here. I'm not gonna get it fast enough to go into third. But our oil pressure's still looking good. Our water temperature's still looking good. So now I'm back down in first. You can see this thing doesn't have power steering. That's why we just kept this big stock style wheel. This isn't the original wheel, but it's a reproduction, or I don't know if these were new old stock, but it's exactly like the original steering wheel was. And they're big like this for a reason, because you don't have power steering. So all right. So we're still in second. So that's third. And that's your last gear. That's why when you're going down the highway in this thing and you're going 60 miles an hour, that's just about as fast as you really want to go. You don't want to go much faster than that in this thing. The brakes aren't as good as a modern vehicle. The steering definitely, it's just not any fun to go at high speeds. Doing this is fun. It's a fun truck to drive around, and not many people know how to drive these old 3 on the trees. Not many people even know how to drive manuals anymore. So that's one thing I always told my kid. You know, when we were fixing this truck up, he was kind of worried about learning how to drive this, and I'm trying to explain to him the whole concept of the 3 on the tree and all that, and it was kind of blowing his mind. And I told him, I said, look, you'll be able to do this. Once you learn how to drive this truck, there's nothing on the road you won't be able to drive. You'll be able to drive an 18-wheeler once you learn how to drive this thing. So, car coming the other way. So I'm kind of getting out of the neighborhood here. notice me, I'm really standing on these brakes because they're just, it's four-wheel drum brakes that are not powered. So going over a tall railroad track here. So yeah, you really, if you think you might even need to slow down a little bit, go ahead and slow down, because that's about how long it's going to take for you to slow down anyway. So I'm coming up to a stop sign here. I am slowing down way sooner than I normally would. And any of my other modern cars. Here we go. Now no more stop signs for a while. So first, then second. That's third gear. Some views outside of the truck now. Okay, so I just got back from my little test drive. I was gonna do this closing over by the truck, but it's kind of windy right now, so I went in front of the house. I don't want to screw up my video. But anyway, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and please stay tuned. I'm gonna do some more stuff with this truck. Like I said, there's a lot of things that we didn't, quite button up whenever we put that thing back together. And so I'm gonna make a little series of videos on this truck. New radiator. I need to do some stuff with the steering. The steering's really loose and sloppy, the rag joint, tie rod ends, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed the content, and please, like I said, like, share, subscribe. Now, and then something else I've been thinking about while I was making this video, I don't want to make it sound like this truck has been sitting around here for 10 years, 20 years, something like that. I mean, we did run and drive the truck up until about a year ago every day. My kid drove that thing back and forth to high school every day for 2 years. And so it's been sitting, I think the last time I got out and started it was like 6 months ago. And I'm really surprised that battery held too like it did. But one thing I got to thinking about as far as that goes too is, these old vehicles, once you turn the key off, that's it. There's no clock, there's no alarm system, there's nothing like that, just sitting there ticking, 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 eating away at the battery slowly over time. So maybe that was the deal, I don't know. But anyway, it's cool to get it going. I drove it, gosh, I don't know, that was maybe 10 miles. And she never got above about 180, 190 degrees on the temperature. Oil pressure was good, everything looked good. So yeah. All right, cool. So bugs are starting to get me. I got to go inside and get some air conditioner. Ms. Zoe already went inside. She's not having that heat. So anyway, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.